Welcome to Buckets. I'm Joe Dellera, filling in for Matt Moore, and today I'm joined by Michael Fiddle. You can find him on X and on the Action Network app at Fiddle's Picks, and you can find me at Joe Dellera. We're recording from our Tommy John home studios to bring you our best bets for the Wednesday, December 4th slate in the NBA. So, what do we have for your best bet for this slate, Michael Fiddle?
I'm kind of liking two road favorites in this situation. Give me the Indiana Pacers -1.5 and the Minnesota Timberwolves -3.5.
All right, we love it. And for me, I am looking at a player prop per usual, but I do like LeBron James over 3.5 turnovers. That's the line it's been set at. If we have a 4.5, as long as it's plus money, I'm going to be in there as well. So let's dive into this Pacers cap a little bit, because one of the biggest things that's been going on in the NBA has been the conversation around Tyrese Halliburton and just what's going on with him this season. He doesn't really look the same. This is a back-to-back. He just actually kind of had an explosion tonight. 30-point game for him. What do you think about this Indiana Pacers team, and why are you backing them against the Nets on Wednesday night?
So, Joe, you were the one that threw me this topic as things we should talk about. I don't think you know I have some heated Halliburton stances in my back pocket. I'm backing the Pacers in this one, coming off of a loss against the Raptors, despite Halliburton playing well. So I like them coming off of a loss and wanting to get that revenge angle back and wanting to win one. And you're going against the Brooklyn Nets right now, who are a team that I'm just looking to fade at any reasonable number against the spread. And if the spread number gets too high, I'm probably going to fade them on a juiced money line, because right now this team is so injured. It's not just Cam Thomas. It's like even your depth with Noah Clowney, Dorian Finney-Smith, questionable with an ankle injury, Cam Johnson, questionable with an ankle injury. Both have missed the last 2 games. So there's just so many injuries piling up. Zaire Williams already announced out. Jalen Martin already announced out. The list goes on and on. So it's like almost like the Pelicans when they were missing everybody that could put the ball in the bucket, except for like 1 or 2 players. So it's going to be Dennis Schroeder. It's going to be Ben Simmons, although I don't know if he's a ball in the bucket kind of player, and Claxton. So besides those guys, then you go against a team like Indiana, who can score at will and can put up a lot of points. It's just like, I just don't expect the Nets to be able to keep up. I'm impressed with how competitive they've been this season. I'm incredibly impressed with Jordi Fernandez as a coach this season. But right now it's in that pocket where we can actually use their early season success and fade them, because this team doesn't represent the team that was playing so well early on. And some of their power ratings and some of their advanced metrics, that's not reflective of the team that's going to be out there on the court. So I'm very much fading the Nets, and happily to do it with the Pacers. I said to you before we started, it could have been any team in the league playing against the Nets right now at -1.5, and I would have taken it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really tough season for them right now, or at least the past couple of weeks or so. And it's been an interesting season for them because they almost started off so well. And we were all like, aren't you guys in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes? Like, what are you doing here? And now it's like, all right, they're back in it. They're the team that we thought they were, I think, right about now. The interesting thing with the Halliburton splits, obviously you had the 30-point game today, but the scoring has just been so down on the road. 22.7 points per game at home, 11.9 points per game on the road.
Wow, I didn't know it was that staggering.
It's a super big split. And the biggest thing is the shooting percentages. At home, he's shooting 43% from 3. At home, 23%. Or on the road, 23% from 3 on the road. I mean, I don't know what is going on with that. Maybe playing the Nets will help kind of shake him out of that a little bit. But especially coming off a 30-point game last night or tonight when we're recording this, what do you think about Halliburton? What do you think about his prospect for this year? Is it something that you're just like, I think it's early season, we don't have a ton of data yet, there's a lot more games to play, or do you think that there's something else, or maybe he just was a little bit overrated last year?
Bango. That's where we got. Finally, someone else said it besides me. Halliburton was absolutely fucking phenomenal from last October to last December, when this NBA Cup that we're watching, the group stage, end tonight. When people listen to this podcast, will know who's making it to the quarterfinals and eventual Vegas trip. That was Halliburton, the Pacers, kind of being that surprise team that, you know, maybe the Atlanta Hawks are this year. So, and everyone got on Halliburton. He gets injured with his hamstring, and he's never been the same player since. So I have a few like possible angles about why someone might not be good on the road. They're kind of like jokes, like in the sense that some people can't go to the bathroom well on the road, and maybe he travels and it gets constipated, and maybe he's playing a little bit backed up, and he's not as fluid in his motions. I've heard that as a football take for some, like, why does Amari Cooper not play well on the road? Because he's Amari Camp Cooper. So maybe that's the same thing for Halliburton. I mean, we find ways to relate to athletes, and some of regular Joe Schmoes get very backed up when they hit the plains. The other thing that I would say in sort of possibly realistic sense is that he's been reporting some back tightness and some sore back stuff, and he says he's dealt with that all the way back to like high school and through college. So maybe it's back tightens up when he's on the road, not in his environment, doesn't have access to all the type of resources and treatment stuff. But Joe, you said 11 points versus 22 points. The shooting splits are just staggering. For me, what it really comes down to is I think Halliburton is kind of overrated. I think he's a perfect player in a perfect system right now. So I think the Rick Carlisle run and gun pace and how much fluidity, switchability, how many wing scorers that the Pacers have had. And then you see like Nembhard, Nesmith go down for times, even Ben Shepherd go down for times. Miles Turner missed some games. They had a lot less depth around Halliburton. You tried to add more to his plate, and he just couldn't handle it. So you asked me how I project Halliburton for the rest of the year. Maybe a little bit better and a little bit better on the road than what we've seen, and a little bit like evening out of those splits. But I'll go even further, Joe. Like, what do this summer, it was all set up for Halliburton is going to be one of the faces of Team USA in 2028 when those games are in LA, and it's going to be like on our home soil. Is he going to be the starting point guard for that team? And I'm looking around the rest of the league, and I'm saying, like, I can't possibly think that Halliburton is still going to be our point guard then. Like, I would much rather see LaMelo Ball potentially be Chino Hills, LaMelo Ball back in LA on his hometown where he grew up, wearing the blue Team USA jerseys. That would be awesome. I kind of think if we look forward, I no longer really think of Halliburton as like the cream of the crop of American-born point guards. I'd look more to Ja Morant. I'd go back to Brunson, although he didn't do that well in FIBA. I would go, consider Trae Young, even though he's small. I would see if is Steph Curry even still available. And then I really think that the one that is going to take his spot is LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough because it's like you don't want to overreact to just the season, but like it has been a little bit of a bigger sample size. Like this is dating back towards really the back end of last season, and I know that some of the conversation around it has been, well, like he was playing because we wanted to get the Supermax, and he knew if he played, he was going to be eligible, he was going to get voted for. I don't know. It does seem like it does feel a little excusey right now. Hopefully he's able to get better, because I think he was electric. He was so much more fun to watch. And like there are some flashes of that in some of these games, like when he just dropped the 30 points. But we were seeing 30 points, 12 assists like every night. And it's like gone right now. So hopefully he's able to get it back. But it is going to be a little bit of an interesting year and scenario for the Indiana Pacers.
You know what Tyrese Halliburton needs is some Tommy John home gear so that he's comfortable at his home and he's comfortable on the road, that he could actually go to the bathroom and do that comfortably and then release whatever he's got backed up and then get out there and start playing well. I call him the NBA's Brock Purdy because he went to Iowa State, and I feel like he's perfect player in perfect system. That's what we've said about like quarterback in a Shanahan system and so many pieces around it. So I actually think there's a lot of similarities to him possibly being the right place, the right player, the right time. And all that being said, I still think he's an amazing player. I still think he's an amazing, even media person, long career after his lengthy 15-plus year career, where he'll probably be a multi-time All-Star, be on that Team USA. Like, there's a lot of accolades coming for him. He's just a bit overrated, and he's looking more top 25 in the NBA than anything top 15 or top 10.
Yeah, it does seem to be like we have to temper our expectations just a little bit. Now, one team that you're also on here, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they've obviously gone through a ton of different changes this year, and they haven't looked as good. They traded Karl Anthony Towns. The offense is humming for New York as they just kind of blew the doors off the Orlando Magic to take the group, which I was excited about. You and I were both sweating, like before we get in this game, we were both sweating like a crazy play on, there was a line out there for, and this guy Desert Dad on X, he tagged us in it, and it was a great spot, great find.
Unbelievable. Shout out to him.
The Magic were minus 350 to make for the quarterfinals. The Magic needed to not lose by 37 points. Like it was basically Magic plus 37. They almost blew it.
Joe, before the game started, you could have moved the alt line on the Magic to plus 29.5, and it was minus 6,600. So to play that and have that quarterfinals odds at minus 350 was objectively one of the best lines I've seen all year. And yet it almost lost, and it was a crazy sweat.
No, it was definitely a crazy sweat. I was like, do the Knicks just keep pushing? Or are they gonna have to play Boston? Like it was definitely a little crazy, but it was an awesome game to watch. But now when we're talking about this, obviously the Knicks have Karl Anthony Towns, Minnesota Timberwolves now have Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo. It hasn't been like super meshing for them. It hasn't been great, I feel. What are your thoughts on them? Why do you want to back them in this game against the Los Angeles Clippers?
Clippers coming off the second leg of a back-to-back. They're playing the Trailblazers tonight. It's another close one right now. And don't forget, Trailblazers outright beat the Clippers earlier this season. So a lot of energy, mental energy, revenge energy, close game being had in night one. And then there's a desperation that the Minnesota Timberwolves are playing with right now. They've gotten Mike Conley back. They were 0-4 without him, and then they immediately win and smack the Lakers with him. So I think this is another spot where the Wolves are going to take care of another LA team. This is they match up well. You'll get Gobert on Zubac. You'll get McDaniels on Harden. You'll get you can neutralize those aspects. You'll get the Anthony Edwards ability to handle the offense, and Julius Randle actually should have quite a mismatch in here if he's going against like Batum or Norm Powell is going to get switched on to him down low. So I actually really like the way that the Wolves match up with the Clippers, and therefore the schedule night, the back-to-back, I think this line probably closes at 4.5 or 5. So seeing 3.5s on the market is like, yeah, let me scoop that up right now.
Yeah,
and some shooting variants too, Joe. Just throwing this out there, like DiVincenzo should shoot better, right? You're a huge Knicks fan. He's got to start shooting better.
You would think. I mean, I think part of it was obviously that was like the best. It was literally the best season of his career. And then Leon Rose, like he's just been it's been a masterclass. Just every single move seems to be working out really well. The Bridges trade, we'll see how this goes. I mean, that seems to be the biggest issue. But even then, as long as it results in wins, then it kind of is what it is. But for DiVincenzo, it's like you sold at the peak, and then now it's new situation, new scenario, new team, and I feel like the green light is a little bit different in Minnesota when you have a guy like Anthony Edwards because of the way that he's like he's the alpha. Like if there's a shot that has to get taken, he's taking that shot. And I feel like that was something that New York had a little bit, but not to that extent. So it's been a little bit of growing pains, I think, for Minnesota, but I feel like they'll maybe kind of come around as the season goes on. One of the spots I agree on the interior that's going to be really interesting is the Gobert versus Zubac matchup.
Yep.
I think that Gobert has not looked as dominant from like a rebounding perspective this year. And the counting stats just haven't really been as good, which is it doesn't really matter. It doesn't totally impact his impact because I think if you watch Minnesota games, you watch him like running around like a maniac and he looks great defensively. Honestly, he should probably be in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year again, and as one of the top defenders in the league. But it has led to this scenario where he's just not racking up the stats. On the other side, Zubac looks incredible, and he is just cleaning the glass like there's no tomorrow. He's averaging 12.4 rebounds per game. I think his line is going to probably be set at 11.5 for this game. It's a back-to-back. I would grab that over 11.5, even though it's the second game in as many days. You would normally say this is a tough matchup against Gobert. However, because Gobert's not stretching the floor, it allows Zubac to stay in the paint, kind of around the rim, able to gather a lot of those rebounds. So I think this is a really good matchup for him. And even if we look back earlier this season, because Zubac just kind of had this development. He just kind of blossomed a little bit extra this year. 16 points, 13 rebounds for him against Rudy Gobert about a week ago now. So I think that it's probably going to be set at 11.5, and I like that spot in this game for Zubac as well. Do you have anything else in this game, Mike?
No, but I think it's worth talking. Do we have some time to talk some LeBron going back to Miami with all the LeBron stuff going on right now? Can we squeeze that in, Joe?
Yes, because I do have one more best bet for that game. And for that game, I'm going to be looking at LeBron James over 3.5 or 4.5 turnovers, right? If it's 3.5, I'm okay playing some juice. If it's 4.5, I definitely am going to want a little bit of plus money. The thing that they say, you know, when you get a little bit older, they don't always have the same like consistently high floor. However, you still got the fastball on certain occasions. And for LeBron, like ever since he's left the Heat, when he plays in Miami, he always seems to show out. He's played 9 games. This is dating back, obviously, since 2014, so the numbers are a little old. 29.9 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 4.6 turnovers. The turnovers have been pretty consistent. But then even this season, if you look at what he's doing on a nightly basis, he's still turning the ball over a pretty good amount of the time because of how often he's on the ball. So this season, he's averaging 4 turnovers per game. I like the spot. I think that there's a good opportunity for him to, a lot of times, like when he wants to show up a little bit more, score a little bit more, be a little bit more aggressive, the turnovers just come with it. And that's something that I'm willing to bet on here. And it's not so much a bet against his performance, because we've seen LeBron have games where he'll put up 35 points, you know, have a triple double, whatever, 5 turnovers, 6 turnovers. And he's comfortable with that because that's something the Lakers are comfortable with because of the way that he impacts the team, the way he's generally impacted winning throughout the course of his career. Even if he has 5 or 6 turnovers, it's worth it in the long run. So I'll be looking to grab over 3.5 or 4.5 turnovers. But I did need to ask you, as a man whose dog is named Bronny, what do you think about LeBron? What do you think about LeBron right now? Because on the season, I think he's actually got a negative point differential for the Lakers.
Yeah, he does. And the last few games, like the last week or so, has been really tough for the Lakers and his net rating stuff. I kind of chalk it up to some schedule stuff. Obviously, probably aging has somewhat to do with it. Probably new coaching has somewhat to do with it. Probably integrating a rookie in Dalton Connect is someone that he's really looking for, has something to do with it. But also, the schedule was just brutal for them. They just went through a 5 games and 7 night stretch where they were pretty much traveling for every spot. Even home games were between different road games. So then you're traveling back home. So it's just like, it was a brutal stretch for LeBron. And I think it was, did you just say it's about night over night consistency, and he might not be able to bring it with so many consecutive nights, but when you give him a few days off, he still has his fastball. He's still, to me, one of the top 5, top 10 players in the league I would trust on a given night if I just needed someone to get the job done. So I still think playoff LeBron, times where he gets more rest, it will be better. This was probably the Lakers' hardest stretch of the schedule. So as a LeBron apologist, as someone who is going to be cuddling with a Bronny tonight, a girl named Bronny, I think that he'll be fine. I think that this is just a blip, but the numbers do actually look ugly, and I have to start to open my eyes that maybe Father Time is finally catching up to the king. It's sad. I know. What I would say, Joe, is I like betting juice, right? Like, I don't mind laying a minus 750 line. Like I just said, my favorite bet of the night was a minus 350, and it should have been minus 4,000-5,000, and I still would have probably played it if it was there. LeBron James and his 10-point scoring streak has been on thin ice in quite a few games this season. I'm waiting for the futures market to pop up with one of those specialties like they do for Wembanyama or LeBron James or Kevin Durant, whatever, those marquee players. Give me the LeBron James specialized future. Will he score under 10 points in one game this season? I'd be very curious to see what it would be priced at. And if they lay a no, and I'd assume the yes, he will score less than 10 points would be like
It'd be plus
plus
money.
500, plus
Yeah.
600, plus 800. And then you're looking at what, minus 1,200, minus 1,500 on the other side. Probably not worth it in a futures bet that you have to wait towards the end of the season. But do I think it would hit? Do I think this man still scores 10 in every game? Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I think it actually does provide a little bit of a betting opportunity, though, still, because like this streak goes back since what? He was a rookie, I think. Like whatever
crazy.
it is. It's been literally like almost 20 years, right? So I do think it presents a little bit of betting opportunity because LeBron does care about this type of stuff. Like he cares about the records, he cares about the numbers, like whatever.
He cares about going back to Miami and playing well. He does the same shit in Cleveland.
It's always like these certain things, right? If like last night or in the last game, there was a point in the third quarter, he only had 5 points. His live line to score 10 was minus 300. And I was like, he's gonna do it. Like he's just gonna do it. And it was a blowout. They were getting waxed. LeBron scored his 10th point, pulled them. And the Lakers pulled all the starters. That was it.
Yeah, he cares about it.
Like they know, like JJ's gonna let him do it. It's not gonna be a scenario where they pull him out of a game where he could get it and there's time on the clock because they'll just literally give him the ball every single possession for him to get those 10 points. So I think that it could present some live betting opportunities if you're able to catch like a live line that's a little bit light, just because you know what the narrative is. You know that he's always got the ball in his hands. It's not like he's somebody that can't shoot and can't score from anywhere on the floor. He's going to take his chances. He's going to get his opportunities to score. So I definitely was curious to know your thoughts on laying the juice for LeBron to score 10 plus points.
Joe, it's been 1,222 straight games of 10 plus points dating back to January 5th, 2007.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Was I was probably in high school at that point. Like that's crazy.
I went to like all of college. All of college.
The Heat were my
school.
favorite basketball team ever. So I loved LeBron's going back to the Heat. I don't know how many more of these matchups we get. LeBron back in Miami. Probably what? 2 of them because it happens once a year. Like knock on wood, it's 2 more after this one because I love seeing the King play. This might be one of the last ones. So watch it and appreciate it. Bittersweet moment.
And bet on those turnovers. So
and bet on the turnovers.
We've talked enough about minus 10,000 plays, minus 350, whatever. We are obviously going to have to cut to here because now that you've heard all those picks, all the minus numbers, all the handicaps, it's time for the Tommy John Ballsy parlay. And we're going to put out one play from each of us into a parlay. Give us a little bit of fun here. And Fiddle, what do you like here for your leg? I think you're actually giving us 2, and I'm going to give us 1.
Yeah, take both of my road favorites. Do Indiana Pacers minus 1.5 and give me the Wolves minus 3.5. They're coming fighting. They have a leg up on these teams, and these are must-win situations.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And then we're going to add in the Zubac over rebounds. I think we actually are, there's no line on this one yet. So we're projecting a little bit, and we think this is going to be about plus 450. Fiddle and I are actually hoping for a little bit of like negative correlation between the Zubac over the rebounds and the Minnesota Timberwolves against the spread. So we're going to have the Pacers minus 1.5, the Wolves minus 3.5, and Zubac over, say, 11.5 rebounds. That's about where I'm projecting it for about plus 450 for our Tommy John Ballsy parlay of the day. We mentioned off the top of the show that we're coming to you from our Tommy John home studios. It's the holiday season. It's that time of year where you might be stressing about what to get your dad or maybe your sibling who's tough to shop for, or maybe even Tyrese Halliburton. Whoever it might be on your list, why not give them the gift of comfort with Tommy John? Your loved ones deserve the perfect gift, the perfect fit, and the perfect comfort. Shop TommyJohn.com/buckets right now for the holidays and get 30% off site-wide. Save 30% at TommyJohn.com/buckets. That's TommyJohn.com/buckets. So that's going to do it for us today on buckets. Our best bets overall are the Pacers against the spread minus 1.5, the Wolves minus 3.5, Zubac over rebounds, and LeBron James over his turnovers prop. Thanks for listening. For me and Michael Fiddle, let's get buckets.